This episode of Patriot Plates is brought to you by SaveTheBrave.org, connecting veterans to change lives.
Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
I'm retired Marine Corps Major Scott Husing, and I'm standing here on the deck of the USS Midway, the longest serving aircraft carrier in U.S. history. Over 200,000 sailors served aboard this carrier from the Vietnam War to the Persian Gulf War and many humanitarian missions in between. Today, the USS Midway rests in San Diego Bay, and just over that bridge is the Naval Air Station and Naval Amphibious Base where we train our U.S. Navy SEALs. Coronado is an island rich in military tradition and a great place to find veterans. We scoured the streets looking for veteran license plates and also found Naval Aviator plaques posted outside of veteran homes. In this USS Midway series, we visit with some veterans volunteering on the USS Midway and veterans now living in Coronado. Welcome to the special edition of Patriot Plates on the USS Midway.
My full name is Donald Hubbard. I was in the Navy. I retired as a commander. I was in aviation my entire career. You know, Vietnam was an interesting situation. I had made commander, and I was really kind of wanting to get out of the service. But Vietnam was on, and I didn't think I should get out with the war on. I just couldn't justify that. The first thing they did, they put me in SEER school. Now, if you've never heard of that, it's a very arduous training situation where they put you in a prison camp and they beat the hell out of you, if you will. After 2 weeks there, went to Vietnam. I had orders that said for duty involving flying. All naval aviators always got orders that said for duty involving flying. So I went to Tan Son Nhut Airfield and to the Navy section there. I said, what do you got? And they said, we have a twin-engine transport. And I said, fine, that's for me. So about 3 or 4 times a month, I would go out to the airfield, and then I'd say, what do we got today? And they'd say, well, today we want you to take some mail up to Da Nang, or we want you to fly some military stuff out to one of the fields out here by this action. Or we want you to go down to Con Son Island and deliver mail to the Coast Guard, or maybe go to Ile de Foucault, which had a Navy SEAL detachment. So that's what I did, and it's very pleasant to do because you get to see the country. The trauma occurred because the little airfields there were very short, and they were surrounded by jungle, so the VC could be in there shooting at you while you're coming in, and you quickly learn to cross control and drop the airplane as quickly as you can, and then pull out and make your landing. Interestingly enough, it's probably the only time I really ever got shot at when I was in the Navy. And the bullets always hit the tail because they didn't know how to take a lead on the aircraft. And then one case, I flew down to Con Son Island several times actually, and it was one place there was no Viet Cong, and the runway ran across the island, so I got out stripped off my uniform and went in the water, and all of a sudden I felt rocks under my feet, and I reached down to clams. And I gathered about 40 clams in my hat, and I flew back to Saigon where my roommate from Maine was, and I said, "We're having clams on half shell." He said, "BS." I said, "Yeah." We had all these fresh clams right out of the Pacific Ocean. So that I guess is how I got this air medal here. I got an air medal for flying 20 missions, quote unquote, in Vietnam.
Good evening, my fellow citizens. This government, as promised, has maintained the closest surveillance of the Soviet military buildup on the island of Cuba. Within the past week, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on that imprisoned island.
The bomber I flew, the AJ, also had a number of them converted to high altitude photography. It was great for the idea because they could get to 45,000 feet and take pictures. I had gone to photo school. When I left the training command in 1952, I volunteered to spend 6 months in Navy photo school and become a reconnaissance pilot. And then I went to a squadron in Jacksonville flying photo planes. One day we got an order and said we want maximum photo coverage of this area starting at 0700 in the morning and then a complete photo readout. We got to map all of the beaches in Cuba. We had no idea why. We sent a plane down there, and the film and the cameras were about the size of a paper towel roll, a little bit fatter than that, 250 feet long. And the plane went down. It took 9 rolls of film. We brought it back. We had a very high-speed processor, and the photo interpreters did not read prints. They read the negative. And I was in my office, and my chief came in, and he said, "Sir, we got a war going on." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "There's a war. The photos, there's landing craft, and there's burning ship, and there's tanks, and there's a downed airplane." So I went in, and sure enough, there it was, and looking at all the film. Then we got a message that said, "The film must be in Washington by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, because we want to brief the president."
Do you, Ambassador Zorin, deny that the USSR has placed and is placing medium and intermediate range missiles and sites in Cuba? Yes or no?
President Kennedy had inherited the Bay of Pigs from Eisenhower, and he was scared to death. He didn't know this was his first foreign involvement.
Oh, you have denied that they exist. I want to know if I've understood you correctly.
Sir, will you please continue your statement? You will have your answer in due course.
I'm prepared to wait for my answer until hell freezes over, if that's your decision.
And so we took the film and we loaded these film canisters, 3 in one wing, 3 in another, and 3 in the nose compartment where these were all places where ammo had gone for the guns. I took off at 2 in the morning to go to Andrews, and they called me about an hour out, and they said, "Andrews is closed because there's a thunderstorm there. You're going to have to pick an alternative." I said, "Okay, I'll go to Patuxent River." Patuxent River is about 60 miles due east of Washington. And I altered heading and went there, and I got there, and of course what had happened, the thunderstorm had moved, and I should have known this, of course. I taught meteorology for a couple of years. It had moved to Patuxent River. And now I'm being tossed all over the sky, lightning's coming down, it's pouring rain, and a big jolt hit me, and I went slamming down, and I had bang, 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 and the 3 rolls of top secret film in the front came out, hit the wing, and bounced off into the Chesapeake. Well, there's nothing I could do about that point. I could care less. I just wanted to survive. The flap was banging up and down. I came in and made a landing in the rain, and there's a full colonel standing there in the rain. "Where's the film?" I said, well, there's 3 in that wing, and 3 in that wing, and 3 in the Chesapeake. I could see my Navy career dissolving right at that point. And of course, I never found it. It didn't matter really, because we had a complete photo readout that I gave him along with the film that was left.
And I'm also prepared to present the evidence in this room, which you can all examine at your leisure, shows 3 successive photographic enlargements of another missile base of the same type in the area of San Cristobal. These enlarged photographs clearly show 6 of these missiles on trailers and 3 erectors.
In summary, there is little doubt that the Soviet Union did embark upon a bold venture to establish clandestinely in the Western Hemisphere a major offensive weapons base, that they were deterred in this effort, and that we are now able to monitor the forces remaining on the island of Cuba is in large part attributable to the type of reconnaissance photography that we have just reviewed.
You know, patriotism to me is the unified feeling that we have a country that is worth giving your life for if you have to. Many military men do that. They go in knowing that they might not survive. But this is America. We're trying to preserve America. I remember in one case not too long ago, I saw an American flag all knotted up, hanging from a rope behind a car, dirty and filthy. And that person parked the car and went in the building, and I went up to that car and I put a note on it. I said, I saluted that flag in Morocco, I saluted that flag in Cuba, I saluted that flag in Korea, I saluted that flag in Vietnam. I'm ashamed of you. And they changed the flag. They took it down and put another one in a different place. So it does mean something to people, but they don't think about it. That's the problem.
We want to thank the veterans volunteering on the USS Midway and the veterans of Coronado for sharing their stories today. We also want to thank our special sponsors and the USS Midway for making this USS Midway series possible. Don't miss our upcoming veteran stories on Patriot Plates by liking and subscribing below. I'm retired Marine Corps Major Scott Husing, hoping the next time you see a veteran license plate, you'll think about the service and sacrifice behind it. Thanks for watching Patriot Plates. One veteran, one story.
Save the Brave connects veterans through outreach programs to build strength of character. Our essential task is to prevent veteran suicide. Save the Brave is committed to providing veterans with post-traumatic stress ways to connect in a safe space. To donate your time, money, or resources, visit savethebrave.org. Reach out to a veteran in need and direct them to Save the Brave.